Snap, snap, clap, clap. Apologies if the dog is barking. Hey guys, Daniel with Slow Haste, where we talk about synths, electronic music, and the creative process. It's a super chill Friday. It's rainy. It's late afternoon. I've been working on this little beat throughout the week, and I just kind of want to show you my progress on it. I've been using a lot of samples from the Baths Splice sample pack that I mentioned. Most of the samples here come from that. I've got a kind of little setup rig with the Digitakt, Digitone, and my Arturia Keystep. I got this sick new stand. Here, let me zoom out on my B-cam. So yeah, this is a super cool stand. It's almost like it was made for these two Elektron boxes, and it is indeed designed for the Arturia Keystep. It fits great. Some of the construction was like a build-it-yourself type of thing with this, I don't know, this like plywood, but it was kind of tough to completely get fully together. It's all cool though. The company I got it from is on Etsy. They're called BDco Design or BDco Supply Design, something like that. But they're actually based in Maine, right next to the town where I grew up, coincidentally. So I'm super happy I found this stand. I really like it so far. All right, we're back zoomed in on the Elektron baddies. Yeah, so I'm just gonna jam around. Let me mess around with this beat, and then I'll kind of talk about how I made it and where I think it might go. All right, so that's it. Pretty quick little jam based primarily on this sample here. Here's the melodic sample. I'll show you the waveform while I play it. It has its built-in chord progression. I've kind of fallen victim to, hold on, let me backtrack, because it's not a bad thing. It's not like an inherently bad thing that I'm doing this, but I've just been finding samples that I really like and kind of using them to be the main component of a beat instead of like chopping it up or playing it on the keyboard. I'll just like keep the sample in its natural form and obviously like EQ it, throw some effects and panning and do some mixing, but leaving the sample in its natural state, so to speak. So here it is. If you couldn't tell that it was this. So yeah, I mean the first step was adding the bass synth on the Digitone and just putting the LFO to duck out of the way of the kick if it were 4 on the floor, and then adding some extra flares to the kick drum. So yeah, again, I'll go over this for the umpteenth time. But if you're new to the channel, you're new to the technique. So basically, to get that bass synth to sort of duck out of the way, you just put an LFO on the amplitude volume and put the depth all the way down. I, for bass synths, tend to use the saw wave and put the mode on each trig, so it resets. Oops. My bad, I just hit a button. Let me reload that pattern. And then I threw an arpeggio on Digitone's track 1. It's just like a nice little fluty synth. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about is I set up my Keystep to work with, hold on one second. Oh, there we go. Getting used to this dual camera setup. I set up my Keystep to be able to play both the Digitakt and the Digitone, but to have the Digitakt control the Digitone via MIDI, while the Digitone's audio is being processed through the Digitakt, because I love the mastering effects that you can get with the Digitakt. But anyways, I just love being able to mess around with a full keyboard. Well, not a full keyboard, but with actual keys. It's just more fun to play, even as somebody who's just like very keyboard illiterate. Anyways, so here's the bass synth and that arpeggio together. Super fun, super jubilant. And a quick question for you guys. So I noticed, I don't even remember if it did this the last time I was messing with these things, but when I play this, the tempos match up, right? But as soon as, if I like double stop on the Digitakt, the BPM goes to the default, which is 120 on the Digitone. So I don't know what's up with that, but let me know if that's ever happened to you, or if you have like a workaround to potentially mitigate that. It's not super inconvenient or anything, just a little bit weird. And I hope it wouldn't happen like during a performance or something like that. So anyways, let's get into the drum beat on the Digitakt. So let's listen to the kick with the snare and the other snare sound. Super simple. One thing I like to do with the kick, as I mentioned before, is adjust to the amplitude envelope. So here on this downbeat, you can see the amp envelope is at its default, but on like these little syncopated off time hits, I really decrease the value of the decay and the hold. So this is a normal hit, and that's a hit with the amplitude envelope dialed back. You might need like headphones or have to be listening on a good sound system to be able to perceive that, but it really does make a difference in the mix when the kick part is heavy, like it is here. So like you have that full kick and then these little short kicks interspersed in between where you want less of an accent. So let's add the hi-hats in. So you may be wondering how I have the hi-hat so busy when the resolution is only but the hi-hats are and that's just because I have a delay on the hi-hat and the delay time is set to a 30-second note because I wanted the beat, the pattern to be longer, so I set the resolution to be 70 BPM, even though I kind of like tapped out the tempo at 140. I just increased the resolution by putting the actual BPM at 70. And then, you have that echo effect in stereo for the hi-hats. One thing that I've always wished you could do on the Digitakt is per sample, I wish you could alter the delay and reverb settings instead of having it be for the whole pattern. I think that would be really useful, especially if you want to have like different rhythmic time variations for some different melodies or for some different percussive parts. I don't know if that's something that would be possible in a firmware update, but it would be really cool to see down the line. Anyways, here's that percussion part. And I have these little accents on 3. I'll actually just play that with the kick so you can hear what that sounds like, because it's pretty subtle, but once you're listening for it, it really does make a difference in like the sort of like anticipation of the downbeat. So yeah, that's a percussion part. Really into that kind of like flowy halftime backbeat type of rhythmic stuff with this super jubilant synth kind of melody. Yeah, I don't know. It's really fun. And then I actually sequenced this little kind of saw wave trumpety type of thing on the Digitakt with a sample from Blank Forms, I believe. And I don't know, I think it just kind of sounds muddy to me. I might play with it more, I might try playing it up the octave. I think it sounds better without that main sample in there, right? That main sample is just so like frantic and hectic and busy. So it's still cool. It almost sounds a little bit too regal. I don't think that I'm gonna like release this track or anything. It was just kind of a fun exercise in setting up the Keystep with the Digitakt and the Digitone. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just kind of wanted to show you a breakdown of the beat, some of the kind of conceptualization behind how I made it. And you know what I'm going to do actually? I'm going to show you how I set the MIDI up with the Keystep, the Digitone, and the Digitakt. So give me 1 second here. All right, so I'm going to try to zoom in so you can see all this, but here we have a MIDI cable from the Arturia Keystep going to the MIDI in of the Digitakt, and then from the MIDI out of the Digitakt, we have going into the MIDI in of the Digitone. Conversely, we have the left and the right output from the Digitone going into the left and right input of the Digitakt. And then in your master settings, page 3, you have your mixer in the Digitakt, and then you just put the left and right pan all the way left and right. And for the left and right input, I just turn them up to 100. You can go to 127, but I just stick with 100 for mastering purposes. Although I have kind of noticed that the Digitone is a bit quiet, so maybe I should try shooting that up to 127. Maybe next time. Anyways, the next thing you have to do is in the MIDI settings, and I've gone over this in a video before, but really quickly, basically on the Takt, you want all of the sync stuff, all of the clock transport and program change to be send, and on the tone, you want it all to be receive. So just make sure you have those boxes checked. And if you're running the Digitakt with the Digitone, it's obviously the opposite. And yeah, again, I've gone over that before, but dog barking. Casper, what you doing? Who's got you mad? You have too many bills to pay, pup. It's okay. Oh, Casper. Anyways, so, okay, the next thing you want to do is make sure that the Keystep, you're going to hold shift and you're going to press the 10 key, or D, also known as D, and that will set your Keystep to be the auto channel, which is 10. And you can leave these settings as they are. I never really did anything with them for this sort of setup. One thing that you want to do is make sure that you have receive notes on the Digitakt and the Digitone. And that is going to be in the port configuration menu. Beep boop bop, beep boop bop, beep boop bop. Looking it up, making sure that I have the answer right. So then lastly, in terms of MIDI, what you want to do so that all of the programs on the Digitone can get information from the Digitakt is you press that corresponding program, and if you go to the source, what it looks like by default is that. So it has this X, and what you have to do is click the button, or sorry, you have to hold the function, click the button, and then it allows you to select a channel. So whatever, that's going to send to channel 16 now. You can see that's ARP. And then I have 2 other pads I was just playing around with. And then the synth, the bass synth, which is great because now the keyboard controls that. And similarly, if I press a button on the Digitakt, the keyboard controls that as well. One thing that is important to note is that in order to actually edit the sound on the Digitone, you have to select the trig or the program that you want to edit. So even if I'm like on 2 controlling that synth, if I actually want to change the audio parameters of the synth on the Digitone, you have to click track 2 I made the mistake of not doing that. And I was like, why aren't these parameters changing? I'd been turning a bunch of knobs, and then I realized I destroyed one of my arpeggios. But luckily I could just reload the pattern, and all was well. Anyways, this seems like a great way to conclude my ramble/jam video, mildly directionless, but I'm just kind of hanging out on a Friday night, and it seemed like a cool way to end the week. So I hope you enjoyed. If you are enjoying this content, definitely subscribe to the channel. All it takes is a click of your effort and supplies me with a lifetime's worth of serotonin. So yeah, really not that difficult for you. The payoff is amazing for me. Win-win. Just kidding. You know I love you all so much and appreciate your support. I hope you have awesome weekends. Hopefully you'll be seeing this early Saturday morning, or maybe Saturday night after you go out for a night of tea on the town. Either way, please take care of yourselves. Thanks as always for watching, and have a good night. Peace.